Budapest. As we did on the last press conference, if you just got in here, the rules will be this. I'm going to ask everyone one question, and then after that, we'll open it up to questions from the media, and then we'll break it up into one-on-ones with different athletes. We'll spread out here and in the other room. We'll turn the lights up for that. So my name's Gary Abbott with USA Wrestling, and I welcome you to our Final X press conference, men's freestyle athletes. We're going to start off, though, with the coach of the world champion United States men's freestyle team, Coach Bill Zadek, who will be leading our troops into battle in Budapest in a few months after he gets his team selected in the next couple days. So would really like to just have Coach talk about the things he's looking for here, the where the program is right now, what we have to do to maintain our number one position in the world, and just the type of athletes that we have here in the United States competing in men's freestyle right now. Coach Zadek?
Yeah, excited to be back here in Lincoln. They did a great job at the trials last year, and it led off to a very exciting and fruitful summer, so we're glad to be back. Also, the first of our 3 Final X series. I'm neutral here. All these guys are my guys. I think we have a bunch of great matchups, and it's going to be an exciting opportunity for us to watch our team develop. Clearly, the rest of the world's going to be gunning for us, and this is a great opportunity for us to showcase what America has to offer and launch some momentum into the summer.
Thanks, Bill. Going to switch it up from the last press conference, and we're going to go from the final men's match and work our way back. So bout number 7 on the card is at 74 kilograms. He qualified for Final X by winning a gold medal at the 2017 World Championships. Native of New Jersey, a 2-time national champion and Hodge Trophy winner at Nebraska. Olympic champ and 4-time world champion, Jordan Burroughs. Jordan, and guys, we're going to pass the microphones around, okay? I'll send you one here. After your senior year at Nebraska, you won your first world title in 2011. Now that you've won 5 world titles, world and Olympic titles, how is the Jordan Burroughs today different than that 2011 champion?
That's a good question, Gary. I would first and foremost say that I believe I'm a better wrestler. I think I'm more seasoned, more savvy, more confident in my abilities. I also have had a lot of things change for me outside of the arena of wrestling, right? I've got 2 little ones, I've got a wife at home, and I've got a lot more expectation of me from the press, from the media, from my coaches, from my fans. But I think it's great. Pressure is privilege, really, for me, and I'm trying to embrace it as much as possible, and I'm excited to compete again this weekend.
His opponents qualified for Final X by winning the Freestyle World Team Challenge Tournament. California native, a 2-time NCAA champ, 4-time finalist for Illinois, Isaiah Martinez. Isaiah, you recently completed a very successful college career and are now focusing full-time on your freestyle craft. You've dominated both the open and the trials in your weight classes. Could you tell us how much better or different you feel in your freestyle, how much it's progressed since last summer?
I think when I was finally done with collegiate style wrestling, I had time to just relax and focus more intensely on freestyle and rounding out my game as a freestyle wrestler. So, every time I stepped out there, I felt better and better, and with every match, I kept the momentum rolling, and so I just feel better and better every time I step out there. So I expect the same to be happening tomorrow.
Thank you, Isaiah. Okay. Bout number 5 on the card will be at 57 kilograms. This athlete reached Final X by winning a silver medal at the 2017 World Championships in Paris. He's a 4-time Nebraska state champion, 3-time All-American at Iowa, Thomas Gilman. Thomas, talk about the things you learned at the Worlds last year and how you've applied that for your preparation for Final X and another shot in the future at a world title.
There's a lot I learned there. Just going out and just competing the way I know how to compete is the number one thing. I know I'm the best guy in the world. I just got to go out there and do it. in the finals. I learned a lot too. I lost that match, and people say you learn the most from your losses, and I definitely learned the most there. Even though I'm a hard competitor, I gotta keep my composure, and when I'm wrestling a guy that's very seasoned and savvy and quick and athletic, I gotta maybe reel myself and my emotions in a little bit and just pick them apart just a little bit at a time, not trying to get everything back all at once. So yeah, that's all I got.
Thanks, Thomas. Your opponent, he reached Final X by winning the Freestyle World Team Trials Challenge Tournament. Native of Oklahoma, now a student at Oklahoma State, Junior World Champion Dayton Fix. Dayton, after winning the Junior Worlds last year, you entered your first senior season this year and were able to get all the way here to Final X. What's the transition to the senior level been like for you, and what do you feel you must do to win here at Final X tomorrow?
When I look at my transition onto the senior level, I've always wrestled high level competition. So wrestling those type of guys, I've grown up wrestling those guys. So there really wasn't much difference. But to win Final X, I'm just gonna have to go out there and wrestle my match. I gotta dictate what happens, and I gotta put myself in as many wrestling positions as possible.
Thank you, Dayton. Our third bout on the card is at 97 kilograms. He qualified for Final X by winning a gold medal at the World Championships in Paris. Native of Maryland, three-time champion at Ohio State in college, and Olympic champion, two-time world champion Kyle Snyder. Kyle, you've won 3 straight world level golds. But you always talk about it's not about winning and losing. Could you tell us the things that are important to you as you keep moving forward in wrestling and facing the new challenges?
Yeah, I think the two reasons why I compete, number one is to glorify God with the gifts that he's given me, and to honor them. And then the second is just to be the best wrestler I can be. I think early on in my career, I started focusing on the accolades a bit too much, and it stressed me out. It made me anxious before I compete, and I kind of held some things back instead of letting loose and competing to 100% of my ability. And now I feel like my mindset is really strong. I'm able to attack the entire time I compete, and that's pretty much all I want from myself. That's all I expect from myself, and it's what I expect from my teammates and the other people that I'm wrestling. So I just want to, and that's it.
Thanks, Kyle. The opponent qualified for Final X by winning the Freestyle World Team Challenge Tournament. Native of
Wrestling talk for itself. There's not really much to say. The world titles from the past, the NCAA titles, the matches from the past don't do anything for us tomorrow. So tomorrow it's just about going out there, scrapping, letting it fly, and winning and not conceding any positions. So wrestling through every single position.
Thank you, Kyvan. Our first bout on the card is going to be at 70 kilograms. Going to introduce the athlete who qualified for Final X by winning the Freestyle World Team Challenge Tournament. He's a native of Utah, multiple All-American at Boise State, now training in Fresno, Jason Chamberlain. Jason, you've pursued your Olympic dream and moved around the country and trained in different places. Now that you've settled out as part of the staff at Fresno State. But previously you trained and lived here in Lincoln. What's it going to be like for you to return here to Lincoln and wrestle in Final X and face James Green, who you trained with, and you've wrestled in bouts too in competition? What's that experience like for you?
Yeah, I look forward to it. I spent 3 years here at Lincoln, and it was really, for me, just a big part of my journey growing up and developing as a wrestler. We all talk about it's not about the end goal, but about the process and about developing. And I learned a lot while I was here. One of the big reasons why I moved here was to train with guys like James every day. So now, being here back and being able to wrestle him to earn a spot to make the world team and represent the USA is really what, my process, it's kind of ironic that it happened this way, but I'm just looking forward to it. And the relationships that I built in Nebraska are still really strong. And I still keep in touch with a lot of people here that I'm excited to be able to have them there tomorrow while I compete.
Thank you, Jason. At this point, we'll open up the questions from the media. Just raise your hand, tell us who you are, and we'll pass the microphones around. You can talk to any of the athletes or Coach Zadek on any topic. So who's first? Andrew?
Question for Kyvan. Having you got the Conduct Forever shirt on, right?
Yep.
So, I don't know if you could just kind of say where, taking on the Black Panther nickname, your opponent goes by Captain America. What about that movie and the character involved in it? How are you going to use that on that?
Well, I think he changed to Iron Man, I think, earlier today. So I'm not sure what's going on. But either way, it's going to be fun tomorrow. We both have opportunities to make a world team. And I just like Black Panther, someone I could relate to. I guess you guys can say physically in nature. But it's just, this is all wrestling. This is all fun. So I'm excited to have the opportunity tomorrow to make my world team, make sure I'm drinking my blood of the Black Panther. So I'm really excited to be here, have this opportunity, and just cherish it and really live in the moment.
Next question.
Questions for Jordan. What tactically do you expect Imar to bring in this match tomorrow? How do you think he's going to approach this match?
I don't know. It's hard to watch my opponent's matches against other people and then expect the same tactics and tendencies in my match, right? Because I'm a different athlete. I'm a different kind of wrestler. And so for me, from my perspective, I think that wrestling me for the first time is very difficult for my opponents to replicate within their wrestling room. And I know he has Mike Poeta training with him, but I'm a little bit faster than Mike. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's crazy because I've seen Isaiah grow up as an athlete. When I was winning my first Olympic gold medal in 2012, he was a Fargo champion. And then I watched him beat multiple Huskers throughout the years. And so when I first got here, I was a coach. In 2015, he beat James Green in the NCAA semifinals. And then a few years later, he beat Tyler Berger in a dual meet. And then just this past year at the Big Ten Championships, he beat Isaiah White in a match. And so, those are like all the guys on the playground that keep getting beat up by the one bully at the playground. And they finally go home and get their big brother. I'm the big brother. And so I'm just looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. Honestly, I don't know what Isaiah's going to do. I've watched a lot of his matches. I understand the way he moves, the way he maneuvers, the way he navigates the landscape of wrestling. I think he's a great wrestler. He's new to the freestyle scene. We'll see. I know what I'm going to do.
I'd like to welcome James Green here, who's going to be competing 70 kilos, since he had the longest trip to get to the tournament. James, I missed your question. I'm going to ask it for you right now. I'm just as a world silver and bronze medalist, obviously you've had a lot of success internationally, but going into this season and having to win it here at Final X, and if you're able to do that, go on to the World. So what do you have to do in your mind, both training and other ways, to get to the next step on the podium at the Worlds? You've got 2 of the 3 medals, right?
Really, I think I just have to focus on going out and trying to dominate, not just win. Wins nowadays aren't good enough. If you wrestle a guy and you beat him 2-1, there's still a little hope in that guy's mind. Next time you might wrestle him. So just to go out there and try and dominate, put up as many points as I can, enforce my will on my opponent. And as far as training, just, being here in Lincoln, Nebraska, training with Jordan, Snyder, training with the best guy in the world. So it's good. It's to my advantage, and I learned from him. He's helped me progress and come a long way as I've been here on the senior circuit. So pretty much just keep building on that and trying to dominate, like I said before.
Thanks, James. We're going to go back to the question and answers. So who's got the next one, sir?
This is for
Any difference in your preparation since the events in Lincoln and you're accustomed to the Advantage Center?
As far as comparing it to traveling, just being able to sleep in my own bed, eat my own meals, it's really beneficial. And obviously a little too comfortable. I'm late here today to the conference, but like I said, it's really beneficial. It's super relaxing, super comfortable. Being with my fiance, my teammates, being in a comfortable atmosphere, and then having Nebraska fans going to be here on Saturday to cheer me on. I know that we're going to have a lot of people here just supporting us. So you get excited for that kind of thing, and being able to wrestle here in my college arena another time is great. It's awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Jordan?
It's great. I enjoy it. I've got access to my entire closet, so I got to wear this suit. Two, it's a little bit harder, actually. It's interesting because, yes, you get all those benefits of not being on the road, not having a time change, not losing your bag, not going to a sauna that's broken. All of these things that are benefits to the wrestling perspective, but also at home as a father and as a husband, you have the same demands on time, right? And so I was up making breakfast for my son at 7 a.m. I was mowing the lawn at 8:30, right, and doing all the things that are naturally obligated for me to do as a dad on the everyday scale. But also the great thing about that is I feel no pressure. And so when I come here and pull up to the Devaney and park in my normal parking spot and walk up to the wrestling room, I feel like I'm preparing for a practice. And so that's the cool thing about it, is like there's no anxiety, there's no pressure. You step into this arena and it feels like you've done this every day. I've competed in this arena more than anyone on this stage, maybe except besides James Green. And so that's a pretty cool thing about that.
Question?
Dayton, so to your left is a whole bunch of guys who won world medals, including your opponent. I believe you're the only one on this side that's won a world medal, and it was at a junior level. But coming up through the ranks, you've been able to win at all age levels. Is that something that you and guys that you were teammates with, you just expect to come up and win? And how did that developmental program help you think, get here?
The developmental program of USA Wrestling's obviously working. There's facts. We're getting better. We're winning more medals. We're winning team titles. So, yeah, I think it's just something people are expected to do now. We're expected to win, and when that's expected out of you, you tend to perform to those expectations. So, in wrestling, going towards the senior level, I've always believed in myself. So, there's nothing's changed. I've thought I could win at the cadet level. I thought I could win at the junior level, and now I'm here on the senior level, and I still believe that I could be the best in the world.
Question? Sir?
Wayne Boyd, Titan Mercury Wrestling Club. I'd just like everybody that thinks they're going to win tomorrow night to raise their hand.
That's just.
Good luck, man.
Wayne and Mike.
Awesome America.
They didn't.
Next question.
Yeah, it's for Isaiah. The same question that Christian asked Jordan. What do you think Jordan's going to bring as far as game plan, tactics? Do you think he's going to, what do you expect him to see?
There's a million videos of Jordan out there, right? Wrestling at the world level, wrestling domestically. It's no secret the way Jordan wrestles, right? He's a phenomenal wrestler, and he's good in most positions. There's certain things we're paying attention to. Again, the way he moves, like he said, the way they navigate the space, right? That's important too. I've talked it over with my coaches, and personally myself, since I knew I was going to be at 74 kg for a while now, I figured I better study up in advance, right? And so I've kind of watched Jordan. Again, who hasn't been watching Jordan for years, right? You know the way he wrestles, and you know what to expect, and he's become more savvy, like he said, as he's gotten older, right? And that goes into play, but I'm excited, right? It's the first time we're meeting live competition, and I'm so ready. I'm so ready to go. I'm so excited, and I can't wait. So there's going to be tactics. There's going to be high action, and the better man will win.
A
question for Jason. After the at the World Team Trials in Rochester, you had a very entertaining three-match series with Frank Molero. Afterwards, you talked about how you knew that he had a specific style and that you were going to adapt to that and game plan. You're obviously familiar with James. Are you able to come up with a game plan? Anything you can say about how you're preparing for that, or anything you're going to do in the match differently?
As far as game planning, I've always thought that wrestling my style that's where I've gotten to where I am. So I like to be aware of how a guy wrestles, but I don't really study up on it a whole lot. I've trained with James a lot through the years, but we really haven't been together for the last 2 years. So, things could be a lot different now. I know he's had a lot of success since I moved away from Lincoln. So, yeah, I think we're familiar with our styles and our tendencies, but I think a lot has changed. So I'm more focused on, my style of wrestling and dictating the pace of the match and, things that I can control and not so much what he's going to do.
Let me answer that question for everyone else on the panel remaining. Everyone studied everyone. We've all watched videos of all of our opponents. We've seen what these guys do. We've broken down their technique with our coaching staff. That's it. We're prepared.
I got a separate one for Kyle. Thank you, JB. Kyle, you've obviously won at the highest level, but you've taken losses during the season. You have 41, and you didn't lose beat Street League, but you had a tough match. Do you think it's important for you to put yourself in a situation like that where you have a tough match, or where you could possibly lose, to help prepare yourselves for situations like this where you have to make the world team and go for a world title?
I don't know. I think that I want to go out there and tech fall everybody that I wrestle. So hopefully there's seasons in the future where I don't wrestle full matches. I just wrestle a full couple years in a row, and never wrestle a full match. I need to get better on top if I'm going to do that. But I think it just happens because I'm always willing to compete in the harshest of environments against the toughest competitors. I don't care where I have to travel. I don't care what the conditions are. I don't care if everybody in the arena wants me to lose. I'll still go there. I'll still compete because those are the type of challenges that I like to face. One of the things that I like being told before I compete is not to protect anything, and I say it over and over in my head. I mean, especially when you start winning stuff, maybe more pressure starts to build. People expect things out of you, but the only thing I expect out of myself is when I step on the mat to compete as hard as I possibly can, just like I do every single day in the practice room. And that's what I plan on doing tomorrow, no matter how I feel emotionally, no matter any of that stuff, whatever runs through my head. I know that when I shake hands that I'm going to give 100% of everything that I have.
Question for Thomas. You're a reigning world silver medalist at the senior level, but in the eyes of a lot of people in the wrestling community, they're kind of viewing you as an underdog to Dayton. Does that surprise you?
Good. I mean, does that surprise me? No, not at all. I mean, he's very credentialed. He's a very talented opponent. He's won at every single level, like you guys reiterated over and over. I mean, does it matter if I'm the underdog or overdog or whatever you want to call it? No, it doesn't matter. I mean, I respect my opponent, and if I'm the underdog, good. I came in here as the underdog last year. With really not a lot of respect. I wasn't even seated. I'm not saying I should have had respect, but I mean, I think that kind of works in my favor a little bit, being the underdog. No pressure, right? Good.
Other questions?
I have one for Coach Reddick. You guys were here last year. What does the Advantage Center kind of present for your wrestlers and the event going on with the Final X?
Certainly it has a lot of fan support. Last year there was a lot of great energy in the arena. There was great wrestling and great fan support. And so I think that has an expectation that the guys that are sitting here are excited to come and compete and put it on the line, and they're going to get rewarded by that, through the fans, and it's a win for all of us. It inspires the crowd, it inspires the rest of the country who's watching, and it ultimately helps our team, right? We get great performances, and it elevates everybody to go on throughout the summer. So I'm excited to be here. I was talking to somebody earlier that one of the very first wrestling camps I ever went to was in this arena in the field house when I was 8 years old. Stayed in Harper Hall and walked across, laid my coins out on the railroad tracks and got them ran over and picked them up after practice. So there's a lot of history in this area, and so it's a good memory for me. It's a good memory for our team as a national team, and so we're hoping to springboard off that again this year.
Last question, anyone? Something good out there?
What kind of suit, Jordan?
Actually, just got this a few weeks ago. My parents bought it for me for Father's Day. Yeah, so I'm excited about it. I got a unique frame, so it's hard for me to just go to Men's Warehouse and find a suit, so I had to get this tailor-made. Like it?
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, so this point of this presser, we're going to turn the lights back up, and we're going to allow people to have one-on-one conversations with the athletes and coach here. We're also going to spread out in the next room if you want to have a little bit of space, but
I know it doesn't.